Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
A very good Thursday afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here on the Statewide Noon News. I'm Samantha Harrelson. The body of one of the 4 bear hunters missing since May 21st has been recovered and identified. 22-year-old Reese Rollins of Oregon was one of 4 men who vanished when their SUV ran off a Forest Service road and into the Selway River about 50 miles west of Darby. Rollins' stepsister tells the Idaho Statesman that Forest Service employees found his body in the river late Tuesday, about 45 miles downstream from where the accident happened back in May. 3 other men, 21-year-old Kobe Clark of Bozeman and 2 brothers, Raymond and Jesse Ferrieri, both in their 20s from New York, are still missing. The search had been called off after a few days by the Idaho County Sheriff because of the difficulty in trying to search the fast-moving river. Special equipment was brought in to pull the truck from the river to prove the men weren't trapped inside. 2 others in the outfitter-guided party made it safely to shore. Well, Billings fire crews had their hands full Wednesday after responding to several calls sun up to sundown. The most recent was a business on Moore Lane just south of Laurel Road. The call for Linrich Seamless Siding, Windows and Doors came in around 8:30 last night. Smoke could be seen pouring from the ceiling of the business. Firefighters were on scene much of the night, even calling in a mobile air unit. Details on the amount of damage and the cause have not been released. And earlier in the evening, flames ripped through a Billings West End home, causing an estimated $40,000 in damages. A vehicle in the garage was also destroyed. The cause is still under investigation. And to start the day, a series of morning fires, all deemed arson. 3 vehicles and a boat went up in flames, all within a couple of blocks of each other on the Billings north side. The first call was a vehicle fire around 4:20 a.m. By the end of the hour, the department had 4 separate fires on their hands. The combined property damage from the fires is around $75,000. And in Great Falls, a fire southeast of the city engulfed a home Wednesday night. Firefighters were called around 6 o'clock and found a home burning and flames spread to nearby trees as well. Multiple agencies from Sand Coulee, Black Eagle, and the Montana Air National Guard responded. The cause of that fire is also still under investigation. And in court news, we're learning more about the former Miles City science teacher who has been charged with raping a 15-year-old student. Miles City School Superintendent Keith Campbell says 38-year-old Morgan Pett was placed on administrative leave immediately after school administrators learned of the allegation in January of 2017. In a statement, Campbell says, quote, "He was notified that Pett had inappropriate communication with a student over a weekend, was put on administrative leave on Monday, and then resigned about a month later following an investigation." The superintendent says Pett did not appear before Custer County high school students after that. Court documents state the encounters with the teenage girl stopped after Pett's wife found text messages and nude photos of the girl on his computer. Pett was charged in April of 2018 and extradited from Alaska to Custer County this week, where he's held on $500,000 bond. Well, turning now to weather, Connor, a beautiful couple days to start around the state, but we're in for a bit of a soggy weekend.
Yes, things are going to turn a little bit of a corner as we head into the day tomorrow. And you're right, we did have a beautiful couple days, and I think we're going to be envious of those days as we head into the next couple days into the weekend. And we're actually taking a look at a tropical system here that's going to impact our weather. Let me introduce you to Tropical Storm Bud, currently impacting the Baja Peninsula down in Mexico. Now, this is not a hurricane. It's not going to have major impacts, but what these systems do is churn up massive amounts of moisture. And as we go ahead into the weekend, we can look at this deep low pressure system over the Pacific Northwest that's pulling up that moisture that Bud is tossing up into the atmosphere. That's going to come all the way up here to Montana when things are said and done. And that really sets the table for our wet weekend. And I've got your full forecast on just how wet that's going to be in just a little bit.
Thanks so much, Connor. The United States Senate Ag Committee has passed its first version of the 2018 Farm Bill. It now moves to the Senate floor, where Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell promises floor time before the 4th of July. Lola Raska, the executive vice president of the Montana Grain Growers Association, says she's hopeful the House of Representatives will bring up its version of the Farm Bill again by June 22nd. The House voted down its last version of the bill in May. Once both houses pass the version, they'll move to conference committee to work out the differences between the two.
Provides them some certainty, some predictability going forward. Some of the most important programs to our producers are the commodity title, which provides a strong safety net. Crop insurance, very important to our growers. Both of those programs moved forward largely unchanged in the Senate Farm Bill.
The current Farm Bill is set to expire at the end of September. Meanwhile, District Court judge ordered the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services to temporarily stop the cuts to the reimbursement rates paid to Montana's nursing and assisted living homes for Medicaid patients. The temporary restraining order filed Wednesday will effectively halt the 2.99% cuts proposed by the Bullock administration, which went into effect January 1st. According to the judge's order, the state will have to pay the old rates for at least the remainder of the state fiscal year, which ends June 30th. Montana's nursing and assisted living homes had filed suit this week against the cuts, saying DPHHS didn't explain its reason for the cuts or give home operators a chance to meaningfully participate in setting the rates. And the new superintendent for Yellowstone National Park is officially introduced by Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke. Cam Shawley, a graduate of Gardner High School and director of the National Park Service's Midwest region since 2015, will take over the reins of the nation's oldest park in August. Shawley's selection is drawing praise from both the Montana and Wyoming congressional delegations. Shawley's career also includes helping establish the Regional Office of American Indian Affairs and serving as Associate Director for Visitor and Resource Protection at NPS headquarters. Shawley has a master's degree in environmental management from Duke University. He and his wife Jill have a high school-aged son. And in Bozeman, United Airlines will now be offering year-round nonstop service to Los Angeles and San Francisco. The airline will now offer at least one flight a day to LAX and San Francisco all throughout the year. The San Francisco and Los Angeles flights become the 8th and 9th year-round destinations in and out of the growing Yellowstone International Airport. Well, thanks so much for joining us here on the Noon News. Coming up 18 months after the investigation started, new information is expected to be released today about the Hillary Clinton email scandal and the FBI's role in the presidential election. We'll have the latest from Washington. But first, Connor says grilling may be off the table this Father's Day weekend. The full rainy forecast when we come back.
You're watching MTN News with Samantha Harrelson. Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh, and farm and ranch news from the Northern Ag Network. This is the Noon News on Q2, Montana's news leader.